Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is October 25th, 2015. My name's Eric Peterson. Joining me today, Miss Jess Clarkson.
Hello.
Welcome back, Jess. You sound as beautiful as ever.
Oh, thank you.
Phone sex operator voice is gone.
I know, I'm really sad. Oh. Well, not really, but...
Well, that just means that career path was not for you.
Sure. You've seen the decline in clients the past few weeks.
Yeah.
She actually sounds like a girl.
God damn it.
We've got Dan Curtis.
Hello.
And Mr. Tom Reagan.
Hey, people.
What?
Hello. You sounded like a perverted Yoda.
Hey, people.
That's exactly what I was going for.
Do you mind if I breathe into the microphone for the next hour and a half? Don't mind me. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
It's good. It's good. It's good. I'm good. I feel like we haven't spoken in a while.
We haven't. It's been a while since all four of us actually have been.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah, long enough.
It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, you guys left Dan and I high and dry to helm a 2-man show.
Best show we've ever done.
Easily. We weren't held down with all this dead weight.
Ooh. Yeah, that's fair enough.
So, Tom, you went to a convention yesterday, right?
I did. I went to the same one that Dan and I went to all those years ago.
God. Nostalgia flashback.
Were you funded by Voldemort?
Yeah, I gave him an email, but nothing back.
I'm going to send you my expenses.
Yeah. I'll send you half the ticket. It didn't give you.
I'm still waiting for that hotel room he promised us.
Yeah. God.
We had to travel to literally the other end of the world to after the expo.
At least he didn't give you guys $1,000 to get 6 people to PAX in Oregon, airfare and hotels and eating expenses included. It's like, you can do it. No, I really can't. I couldn't even do it if everybody drove.
Yeah, you've got to drive across the sea.
Moron. That guy was just dumber than a bag of hammers.
Who was going to go, Eric? Was it you, Nino?
It was me, Nino. It was the guy who had the Tifa pillow.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Forgot about it.
I don't know if I really want to say everybody's name, so I'm trying to come up with semi non-inappropriate ways to describe them.
Fair.
Yeah.
San Pellegrino. And then
I'm not getting that one.
I'll put it here. Then the guy who liked the bacony mayonnaise.
Oh.
Oh no!
Wow.
Not the bacony man.
You have such a good memory.
That was a very strange time in my life, Tom.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It stayed with us for all these years.
You really dodged a bullet not being pulled on board with that garbage.
I left just before that.
Yeah. Who else did he want me to bring? Who was Bacony Mayonnaise's guy? What was his real name? Because that guy was a frickin' Stitch.
I know his name, I think. I just don't want to say it.
Okay, then let's not.
I can't remember.
Anyway, the long and short of it was all of us were supposed to go to Oregon for PAX Prime on $1,000.
Were you supposed to go with the guy who choked himself with a Guitar Hero wire?
Yep.
Oh!
What?
You know, now that we put all of this into context, it is absolutely no wonder that website fell apart as soon as we left. Oh, and Eads was supposed to go too.
I think it was falling apart before that.
Well, because Dan and I were
thanks, Jess.
leaving.
No, I just mean like it had been falling apart since it started. Like it was terrible.
But he had the backing of the biggest advertising company in the industry.
And he was a millionaire.
basically.
And he lived in the streets of India while he founded his companies eating dog food out of a garbage can.
Did he live in New Jersey?
I think so.
I think he lived in a zoo
Same.
with loads of parrots.
Anyway, Tom, tell me about this convention you went to.
It's
I mean,
really
as
good.
much fun as reminiscing about the days of Voldemort Towers is.
Nobody knows what we're talking about.
The dedicated diehard few will certainly know.
Yeah, I mean, it was way different to the one. I went to EGX in Birmingham, which was definitely more of a games event, and this one was Comic-Con and lots of JRPGs and loads of people dressing up and stuff like that. It was cool though, like loads of like indie artists and stuff, and trying to make it with their first comics, and people were really chatty, and the atmosphere was really friendly and stuff. Like we had a really good time. We were most there for most of the day.
Comic-Con events more than games events. I feel like they're friendlier.
Yeah, it was really good. Like we were just looking at all the books and stuff, and we weren't really sure what to get because there was so many, and the people who work there and even people standing next to you who are also browsing are just more than happy to help you out and stuff. And be like, oh yeah, that one's really good. Get that one. You'll really enjoy this. And there's just more of a sense of community.
And they don't leave you alone for the rest of the day.
Yeah, they
just follow you around. You're my friend.
You said hi to me?
Do you still get the people who wander around with those signs that say free hugs?
Yeah. There was one guy with like loads of people with free hug signs, and there's a guy with free shrugs. It was quite funny. And there was
I see what he did there.
I see what he did. We had some people who had amazing costumes. Like there was this girl dressed up as Alien.
Tom,
it's amazing.
They're not costumes.
They are.
No, it's a way of life.
What? So she actually got inside an alien and
They're not dolls. They're action figures. I feel like cosplay has taken a huge leap in the past 5 years.
Yeah, I would say
I remember going to MGM and being quite freaked out by it because I'd never seen it before much. You know, I was like, what's going on?
I'd never seen it either.
My first interaction with cosplay left a huge negative impression on me, just a really bad taste, because I was going to the Phoenix Comic-Con, and as I was walking in, there were these 4 girls that were dressed up as the 4 Links from Four Swords Adventures. They were awesome, super well done. And I asked them to stop and take a picture, and they just completely blew me off. So when I wrote my article about it, I just put that in there as kind of a side note, and they actually contacted me super pissed off about it. Like, how arrogant do you think you are that we'll stop and take a picture for everybody and blah, 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 blah. We had a panel to get to and this and that. It's like, you're dressed up like that. You fully know what you're getting yourself into going in, and it's not like I was stopping you to ask for an interview. It was, hey, can I just get a picture of you guys? Because I wanted to feature you in an article, but now you're in this article in a negative light. Oh, and I took a picture of you guys from behind, so sorry.
I always remember, Tom, when we were at that MGM Expo, there was just a group of friends, and they were dressed up as all of the characters from Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
They just looked so much like them.
They even had, like, as well as looking the part, they kind of had the personality as well. Like, kind of they kind of showed the persona of, like, Lightning just looked really, like, pissed off the whole time. and they had the same again. They had a girl on, like, stilts, like, Portal.
Yeah, that was good.
And people from, like, Tidus from Final Fantasy X. There's a guy dressed up as, I've not played Kingdom Hearts, but I could tell it was the guy from Kingdom Hearts.
Sora.
Yeah.
2 of the coolest ones I've ever seen. There was a guy that built a Warhammer 40K mech outfit, like, to scale. It was absolutely enormous.
You see some huge ones, and you're like, they come in with massive wings and stuff, and they're having to walk sideways through the crowds. It just looks like so much effort.
The other one, somebody had an absolute spot-on cosplay of a nurse from Silent Hill 2. And she was just sitting outside on a bench, like, next to a bush away from everybody. It's just a really strange setting. Like, is that a statue? And then she just kind of moves her head occasionally and looks around. It was really weird.
There was some really good ones like that.
Freaky.
The one that I hate seeing the most is Deadpool. I hate
Oh, there were so many
so
of those.
generic. Everybody does that.
Well, I'm just
And
going to be a
Spider-Man.
douche. I'm just going to dress up as Deadpool and go to Comic-Con and just be a huge douche.
There were so many like Jokers and Catwomans and stuff. But there was a guy and his girlfriend dressed up as clickers from Last of Us.
Oh, nice.
And they were actually moving around like that as well.
Oh, that'd be so
Did they
cool.
have all like the fungal explosion stuff out of their head?
Yeah, it looked so good, and they'd put like white crap all over their arms, like flaky skin and stuff, and they looked really diseased. It was really
Maybe they
the attention
actually
to
did
detail
have
was good.
leprosy, and it was just an excuse for them to get out in public. Joke's on you guys.
I do find it amazing the dedication some people have to it, though. It's like, it's just incredible.
I've always
really.
thought it would be really fun to do, but then I get down to that whole point of like, okay, now I have to make this, and then
Eric, if me and you did it, we'd end up like walking into a convention hall covered in toilet paper or something.
There was
I'm
a
a
disabled
mummy.
guy. There was a disabled guy in a Superman uniform with glasses on, and he was just like, and he had a big board behind him with clouds and sky.
that's
It's
awesome.
Like, yeah, it's like
I feel bad laughing, but
it was really good though.
you okay, Dan?
No.
I was the same reaction as you. That it was great.
I would have laughed for days if I saw that.
Yeah.
What's my favorite are the people that pick characters that they can't really pull off. I feel like cosplay has to have an element of somewhat realism to it. It's the whole dress for the body you have, not the body you want thing. And it's like, no matter how much you want to be that character, you probably can't.
What do you mean, like really fat guys in crop tops trying to be Lara Croft?
That's exactly it. I mean, first of all, I don't want to push anybody into gender roles, but Lara Croft is a girl.
Oh, I don't know. Things I saw
Do
yesterday.
them tastefully.
Very modern.
What, Jess?
You can do them tastefully, but there are a few. I've seen a few websites that have collections where it's just not tasteful at all.
Is it like a People of Walmart website, but with cosplay?
Yeah. Like one of them is I'm not sure if you've seen the what's her face, Misty one,
From
where
Pokemon?
there's been, yeah.
Oh my god!
Damn, that's hilarious.
Continue, Jess.
Oh, I'm just trying to find it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
So, boy, that threw me off.
So to explain, I just found a picture of the fattest Lara Croft ever.
This got really inappropriate really quick.
Can we have that as the featured image this week?
No, we shall not.
Oh, please.
At the end of the day, what it boils down to is if they're happy going out like that, that's awesome. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing of cosplay is taking on a different persona.
Yeah. It's a very inclusive place, Comic-Con.
I think
everyone's friends.
There are certainly some that are overdone, like the Deadpool ones, Jokers, Batmans, anything steampunk is overdone. Although it looks cool, it's overdone.
I do like the steampunk stuff, but you see a lot of it.
The Metal Gear Solid in a box is starting to get overdone. There was a guy at E3 that was walking around in that. It's like, okay, dude, it's a little old now.
And the Minehead block as well.
Yeah, some of the cooler ones that I've seen were people dressed up like the soldiers from Metal Gear, and they just had the exclamation points above their head, and that's all you could see through the crowd.
Yeah.
I think if I went, I would want to do like an early Polygon PS1 style cosplay of like Lara Croft or Solid Snake and just make it look really boxy and flat.
Yeah.
But then again,
I find it amazing that some people actually do make a career out of being a cosplayer now as well.
You can make a job out of anything these days.
It's crazy though.
You can sell your poop, Dan, and make money.
You speak from experience, Eric.
We saw Duke Nukem, and he had the bullets all across his chest, and he had the sunnies on, and he was absolutely built like a brick shithouse, and it was really good. So I can see that you can make a career out of cosplaying.
Do these people collect tips at the shows?
They just really love it when you go up to them and say, "Can I get a photo?" Like that's what they turn up. They just want to be snapped as many times as possible. So I was surprised when you had the 4 Links walk by you.
Oh, they were and I don't want to sound super mean, but they were bitchy about it. I mean, just like, no, we have and just ran away. Like, okay, well, fuck you guys then. There was an amazingly gorgeous girl walking around the Phoenix Comic-Con dressed up as Lilu from Fifth Element in her little orange thing, and that's pretty much all she had on. It was no, not the orange thing, not the orange thing. She had the bandages. It was the bandage outfit of Lilu.
Oh God,
awesome!
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like the girl who was dressed up as Riku from MGM Expo. That was good.
She is one of the more attractive Final Fantasy females.
She is.
Quite.
To balance it out a little bit, there have been a couple of guys dressed up as 300 people, which has been pretty decent.
I mean, you got to give the girls some eye candy too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that would naturally be my first choice, but I wouldn't want to put everyone to shame.
That's nice of you.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to steal the spotlight. Look.
What a guy.
I could do it. Totes.
Believe in yourself.
It just takes a little bit. What else did you get to play anything fun there? Was Just Cause there?
No, there was a Square Enix booth, but it really tailored to all the JRPGs that had just been recently localized. It was a place to pick up it had Japanese like food and homeware and toys and cuddly things, and basically every Pikachu we walked past, my girlfriend just ran up to it and hugged it for about 2 minutes.
How many Pikachus did you walk out of there with?
None.
But she hugged them all.
Yeah, you got to hug them all, right?
I don't think that's the Pokemon motto. Oh, you're so
Have we had this discussion before?
Gotta hug them all.
I'm having deja vu.
Yeah.
I don't believe so. I don't recall it.
I think we
It
have.
was like booths with like all the Tales games and stuff, because they just released the new Tales game for PS4, so that was being touted all over with Vitas, and it was all about Sony, to be honest.
Good.
Yeah. They had like simulation stuff, like a bit of VR, but not much. I'd say like last time I went, it was more 50-50 with comics and games, but it was probably more comics this time around.
Shit.
I remember there being games everywhere when we went.
Yeah.
Didn't you? I thought you guys went to the London Games Expo.
Yeah, this is the same one I went. This is exactly the same one that me and Dan went to.
Interesting.
But I don't know if it was it was huge. Like I might have missed some bits.
I might have missed the hall with all the games.
Yeah, there's a lot of like tabletop games.
I remember playing like Child of Eden on the Kinect and a 3DS Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
and they had all kinds of stuff when we went.
Yeah, they had a.
This was like 6 years ago or something, though. So
it was like 3.
Mortal Kombat 4. They had tons of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I just must have either missed it or. Yeah, it was an opportunity to spend a lot of money. Definitely, they had like huge retro areas as well, with like PS2, Game Boy, GameCubes, Nintendo 64 cartridges, NES cartridges from America, Japan, and the UK, and like just huge areas where they were just selling tons of games. The markup was quite high on them.
Oh, they always are at those expos.
Yeah, but then actually some of them weren't too bad. Like this guy was selling PS2 games. Every single thing in the crate was £5, and some of them were like, okay, really common games that you'd see for £1 at the local charity shop. But then he had all the Kingdom Hearts games for £5 each. That's actually quite good.
The dude probably made a killing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I went on kind of a retro games binge the past 2 weeks. Just
Oh yeah, you're picking up all sorts.
Yeah, I got a little carried away.
You did, yes.
After...
I think it's because I brought all mine home and then you wanted Battlefront.
Well, yeah, I've been trying to track down a copy of Battlefront 2 for a while, and
Yeah,
I went to... There's a chain here. It's called Bookman's, and they've got 2 in the Valley. And the one that I normally go to, it's a little closer to my house. They had Battlefront 2 for Xbox, but they wanted $35 or $40 for it. I'm like, no thanks. Too little too much.
Yeah.
But I walked out of there with the original Tony Hawk on PS1, a couple of Outlaw Golf games. I don't even remember what else I got. Oh, Silent Hill 2 for PS2. I think I paid $34 for everything. And then I went to the store on the other side of town and found Battlefront for $17, Tony Hawk 3, and Tony Hawk Underground, and walked out only paying $14 for everything. How that worked, I have no idea, but I just said, here's your $14.
The same chain?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would like to have bought some games. I just ended up buying... I bought a T-shirt that said Tifa's Seventh Heaven on there. That was cool.
And you secretly bought a body pillow cover of Tifa that you can make out with.
I wish I could. That's the one thing I'm missing. I got the T-shirt.
And the
underpants. I got a Shinra hoodie. I just need the Tifa pillow.
Yeah,
you should have brought a Sephiroth sword and took it home on the tube.
I know.
See how that went down.
When you sent that picture of those swords, that brought me back to a very fond day of college. My uncle bought me a pretty high-quality replica sword for Christmas one year that I usually kept hung on the wall. And then my buddies and I...
You use it to slice pineapples.
My buddy and I moved into a house for college. It was there were 3 of us in the house, and in the backyard, for some reason, there was just wild cabbage growing. And we had a party one night and got pretty drunk, and we were tossing the cabbage around, and somebody had a baseball bat, and they hit it with the baseball bat.
Is that how you lost your right arm?
And I went, guys, I've got a better idea. And I go up into my room and I pull this sword off the wall, and we start playing cabbage baseball with a sword. And it was sharp. It wasn't just a replica dull sword. Like, this was a fully remade sharp, it could cut you in half sword.
Oh, my God.
Fucking hell, yeah. I mean, if you bought these swords yesterday, you had to give them a shipping address, so you couldn't take it home with you.
Oh, my God.
Because they were like £200 each, and they were in proper samurai style. I just couldn't believe it. That I'd never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, we bent mine hitting cabbages and hitting other things with it. The hilt bent a little bit. I could just imagine what my neighbors were thinking, too, because we were drunk. We were really drunk, and we were being really loud. There were people up on the garage roof, like, throwing cabbages down, and it's just stupid. Like, I look back and went, man, that's not safe. No part of that is safe at all. I mean, all it would take is somebody to swing a little too hard and let go of it and impaled.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not like it was just 3 or 4 people. It was a yard full of people.
That's the worst, because then it's like peer pressure. Everyone's like, oh my God, let's do this.
Nobody wanted to be the one to say, guys, maybe not the best idea.
Meanwhile, Eric's on his underpants on the roof shouting, "Fight!"
No, I'm the one up at bat swinging the sword. That was the same party where we all pitched in to buy a brand new fire pit, and this one dude came over that nobody wanted to come over, and he lit the fire pit on fire somehow, melted the whole thing. It's like, how do you pull shit like that off? It's a fire pit. It's meant to have fire, and you lit it on fire.
Guys are crazy.
That story just Tom and I were reminiscing about some awesome working in the game stores. And
yeah,
if anybody has ever worked in a game store, they can completely relate. And I wanted to put it out there to people because I think Tom and I should share some of our better stories. But I want to hear stories of people who have worked in game stores. Some of your best moments. Send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com. But
Yeah.
I want to take a couple minutes to talk about this because I was in stitches talking with Tom about this. Probably my favorite one. I was the assistant store manager at a GameStop, and I was roommates with one of the other managers. And for some reason, he and I were both opening on a Thursday morning. And Wednesdays in my hometown were wing night downtown. So it was dollar beers and 10 cents a pound, or 10 cents a wing downtown. So we would go downtown and just get lit up on wings and beer and stay out till 2, 3 in the morning and have to be to work by 9 a.m. So we get to work, and the whole morning we're opening up. We get there about an hour before the store opens, and we realize, like, man, we've got just nasty, gross beer and wing farts. Like, okay, this is going to suck. I mean, they were uncomfortable. And about 11...
Were they hot wings?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this might sound gross, but when your farts come out hot, you know they're going to stink. And we make it to about 11:30, and we realize nobody's come into the store yet. And the second guy coming in for the day walks in, looks at us, and immediately turns out and just walks away. He comes back about 15 minutes later. He's like, "Nope, still smells like shit in here, guys."
That's amazing.
That is great.
I once went into a game shop, and there was somebody with such bad body odor I had to leave.
Oh, that's a common thing too.
That happened to me really recently.
It just hit me as soon as you open the door, and you just like, oh god, just no.
Yeah, fuck it.
But Tom, we do this English thing where we can't, you know, when like nobody's in a shop and you have to go have a look round even though you're not going to buy anything.
So true. Especially if you're the only one and they don't have any music playing, it's really awkward.
Yeah, then you feel like they're watching you, and then you just go, you just give them a wave and leave. Just go, I'll come back later. Come back later.
I'm just going to go and get some cash out. Just potter around. That's so true. But this girl gave her place up in the queue for me because she couldn't deal with the guy in front of her.
Oh,
and
God.
I thought, I'm quids in here. I'm one ahead. And then I realized it just hit me so badly. And I was like, do I really want this game? Do I really need this game right now? I could just leave.
We had an ongoing game of who could touch the rat tail. And we would get customers that would come in. You guys know what a rat tail is, right?
Nope.
Like the hair?
Yeah. So if your hair is really short, but in the back at the bottom, it's just really long, like down past. It's just gross.
Oh, a mullet.
No, a rat tail. Look up a picture of a rat tail.
I think I know what you mean.
So we had a game running where if somebody came into the store with a rat tail and you touched it, you got a point. And if it was braided, you got 2 points. So whenever we'd see somebody come in with a rat tail, we would get super aggressive in our customer service about it and like, no, let me talk to you about this game, and like try to steal the customer away and then steer them towards a game so they'd look at it and then turn around and touch the rat tail. But it only counted if the other person saw it, because you couldn't just say like, yeah, I touched it. And a few years, the game went on for years. We just had a running tally in the back of how many rat tails people had touched. But years later, I went back to lacrosse, and we were downtown with one of the guys who didn't work there, but he'd heard about the game, and he's like, guys, I'm going to end the game right now. And there was this dude at the bar, he's probably mid-40s, early 50s, had a super long, gross, greasy rat tail, like mid-back. And he goes, I'm going to lick it. Like, no, you're not.
Oh, no.
No.
So we're all standing in the corner, and this guy just walks over, puts his face right up to the guy's back, sniffs it, and then looks at us and licks it. And the guy turns around, and my friend just looks at him like, oh, sorry, and just walks away.
Sorry about that.
That is where the rat tail game ended.
Ew.
And he won.
You took
we
it
spent
right to the edge.
years amassing points, and he won it with a lick.
He just bested all of you.
You can't fight against that, can you?
No.
One big slurp.
Yes. The only thing that would have made it better is if he put it in his mouth.
Oh.
But you guys had that many rat tails? Like, rat tails kind of died out, like, 90s is when they were done.
They came in on I'd say a bi-daily or every third day basis.
That's so
Some
gross.
days it was just an onslaught of rat tails.
But I don't even understand, like, why you would have that. Like, I don't think you'd ever be like, oh, yeah, I look badass right now with my fucking rat tail.
There were kids. There was a group of people in our hometown that their favorite hairstyle was to shave their head almost bald but leave their bangs and then curl them.
Ugh.
What?
Yeah. Interesting. So...
Where is this in Wisconsin?
Mm-hmm. The only other game store story that I want to share is we would get every month the new marketing packets. And for a while they were sending us these packets with adhesive things on the back that we'd have to stick to the wall. Well, the adhesive that they put on was really shitty, and when you went to pull it off, it would leave sticky marks all over the wall that you couldn't peel off very easily. So one morning, the same guy who hotboxed the store with me, he and I had the bright idea of, well, let's get all this sticky stuff off. And we had industrial strength glue remover compound. So we're both up on these ladders for an hour with this solution and rags, and we're rubbing it all over the wall. And it comes time to open, and this other guy comes in, and he's like, Jesus Christ, guys, what did you do in here? We'd gotten completely high off all of this glue from just rubbing it, and for the next 2.5, 3 hours, we're just high as hell off glue trying to sell games.
Oh, God.
Glorious.
I think there are so many reasons, Eric, why you don't do that for a job anymore.
Oh, man. We used to play AOL disc hockey in the floor. We would hook up the Super Scope for the PS2 and play games on the TV. And I mean, if you're a teenager and you have the chance to work in a mall, do it. It's awesome. Just the people that you meet, especially if you can work there in the middle of like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. There was a dude that wore a kilt and walked around the mall all day.
You got away with a lot more than I did, definitely. But I know what you mean. Like, if you work on a weekday in the middle of the day when the shops are dead, you can just get up to all sorts of stuff.
Oh man, I've got dozens. But yeah, if you've got a fun working at a game store or even just being in it, send us your story. I want to hear them. We should probably talk about some games. And I wanted to. Part of the reason that I went so heavily after the Tony Hawk games is because Dan was talking about Tony Hawk Underground, and I bought the original Tony Hawk for PlayStation 1 again and popped it in, and I'm a little sad to say that it doesn't hold up very well.
I was more about the Tony Hawk's 2 for PS1.
Yeah,
I think that might still.
I couldn't find those. So I bought the first. I think I only paid $9 for it, but still, it you could definitely tell it was the first foray into that style of game, and they did it very well. But they did
still better than the new one.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't fall through the floor. You don't launch into the sky after falling off your board. It's just you can tell they vastly improved the mechanics up through 3 and Underground and Project 8. But man, the controls on it are really clunky, just in terms of like turning your character. And I forgot how big those levels are, and you don't have much time to explore them. They give you 2 minutes. Here you go. It's like, oh, great. I wanted to go skate that pipe, and now I got to skate it. It's just...
Yeah.
That was the idea, though. You did loads of runs, and you slowly built up your understanding of the level, and then you could do everything.
Yeah, by the end, when I first played it as a kid, I could do everything, like all the tapes in one run. I had the levels down that well, but after playing the newer ones and being able to have better control over your character, I mean, even just turning your character in the first game was very difficult. If you wanted to do a tight turn, you couldn't do it. And then they added the revert mode later. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I think the manual was added in the second one.
I believe
you can't manual in the first one. Am I right? Or
I think you can. No, I don't think you can.
Yeah,
but
that changed everything, Eric. And the licensed music.
The soundtracks in those games, I can definitely tell, had a huge influence on the music that I listened to at the time. Because I was looking through, the soundtrack and playing some of them. Like, oh, I really used to listen to this song a lot. Oh, I listened to this one too. Oh, this game kind of defined my music taste.
It did, though. It had such a good soundtrack.
It really did.
Well, that punk rock.
That if you hear them, like, you legitimately, that's all I can think of is Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Goldfinger. I can't think of the name of the song. Superhero, I think is what it's
Superman.
called. Superman, yeah.
Oh, yes.
That song is just always going to be Tony Hawk.
Burst of nostalgia.
Yeah.
But then there's some pretty shitty songs on there, too. I picked up Tony Hawk 3 on PS2, and that one...
I like Tony Hawk 3.
I liked that. I really liked that.
It was awesome. I still think I prefer 2 a little bit better, but 3 was a great first step into the PS2 era.
It was just like 2, that one, though, but added the revert. So that's why it was good. It opened up the levels a bit more as well. Like, it still had the time limit and stuff, though, that one.
I feel like my memory of that game had those levels being a lot larger than they really were.
I think some of them had a lot of secret areas.
I had Tony Hawk 3 on the Game Boy Advance.
I'm going to have to replay it, aren't I?
Wait, you had it on what?
I had it on the PS2 first, but I actually had it on the Game Boy Advance as well.
They made a GBA version of it?
It's really good.
God. I think I had Tony Hawk 2 on Game Boy Advance.
It's like an isometric view. It's actually really good.
Oh, really?
From what I remember. Yeah. I mean, the jury's out as to whether it holds up or not. But yeah, it's worth a go. I thought it was really good back in the day on the old style.
I'd imagine that would play a lot like the NES version of 720.
God, I don't know. I've never played that.
It's pretty bad. It's either 720 or Skate or Die. I don't remember which one, but there's an isometric one that looked like Marble Madness, but you're on a skateboard, and pretty much all you can do is just spin.
It was cool because the GBA had the shoulder buttons for turning and stuff. Yeah. It worked really well. Yeah,
I love the Game Boy Advance.
Mm-hmm. So that was good. I just remember Tony Hawk's 4 was when they went crazy with all the moves you could do, like the death grind or whatever it was, where you could like lie on your board and grind.
Yeah, they added like Casper grinds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's one on Tony Hawk's Underground where you actually do a moonwalk while doing a 5-0 grind.
Yeah.
The game got a little goofy.
It did, definitely.
That's when I stopped playing them, though, because I remember at the time when Tony Hawk's Underground 2 came out and it just looked completely stupid, and I was like, don't want it now. But now I quite want to play it.
It was like the Saints Row of Tony Hawk games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you guys ever get into Skate? Or
oh, yeah.
Really?
Skate games were fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I've played them briefly, but I've never actually got around to buying them.
They are super difficult. Yeah. The learning curve on those games is really, really difficult. But Dan, if you liked Ollie Ollie, you'd be really good at Skate.
I liked and disliked Ollie Ollie in equal measure.
The mechanics for Skate were great because you really didn't use any of the face buttons at all. Everything was done via the joystick. And having been a skateboarder, they did a really good job of recreating what your foot is actually doing to make those tricks happen on the joystick. I mean, for the ollie, you pull down and then flick it forward, and for the kickflip, you hold it down and then push it forward and up to the right a little bit, or up to the left, depending on what your stance is. They did a really good job on it. And the whole camera angle, like being down behind it, gives you that feeling that you're being followed by a camera, and it's really cool. And
you could like get off your board and then run up buildings to the top level and and find new areas.
The absolute best part of that game was, I think it was on Skate 3. They had it in all of them, but Skate 3, they had the meat contest, where the whole point of it was to cause as much damage to your body with broken bones and all of that. So my uncle and I would play it. I think I even have a video of it on my YouTube channel where we're just finding the most obscene spots to just fall down and have seizures and fall off buildings and hurt ourselves. Just completely playing the game the way it's not meant to be played.
Were like mini skateboards popular with you guys too?
Are you talking about like the tech decks that you use with your hands?
Yeah.
Oh, I had dozens of those taken away in middle school.
Yeah.
We used to take like our notebooks and our binders and make little skate parks out of them.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I remember having them, but I don't remember ever doing anything with them.
remember having the little screwdrivers. You could like change the tracks and stuff.
Yeah. And did you guys have snowboards too?
No.
Oh, we had snowboards.
No. That was
But when you
Canada
take
thing.
the trucks off your skateboard and go snowboarding.
No, they actually had bindings and everything.
Really?
I did do that. It doesn't
Yeah.
work so well.
Would your fingers go into the bindings?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
there
see-
are boots inside of bindings.
That's
kinda cool.
cheating because the tech deck, if you could do an ollie or any tricks with your tech deck, you were the tits.
Yeah, which is, so you really just kind of did nothing with the snowboards.
If you had slow-witted friends, you could just baffle their brain by putting your thumb underneath it when you're ollieing and picking it up.
Yeah.
So all your friends did that to you?
Yeah.
How do you guys...
It's like, you have powers.
How do you do it? Or you'd take double-sided tape and put it on your on the grip tape so your fingers would stick to it. That's the more technical way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's more subtle.
No, yours is more obvious. Like, oh, your thumb's down there. Mine is just straight up double-sided tape. You can't
Oh,
see that.
man, we were like
Could you get,
6
like,
at the
black?
time. Nobody would notice.
I forget. 6-year-old Dan. What else has anybody been playing? Anything before we dive into the last half of Psychonauts?
I bought the new Assassin's Creed.
Oh God, we're not even going to talk about that.
Fine, but bugger off.
I just want to share a sentiment. I'm finishing up Chrono Trigger for our big Chrono Trigger show that Kevin and Derek and I will be doing probably this week. And you've all played Chrono Trigger, right?
You?
No.
Yes.
Jess, you haven't?
No.
Okay. I have loved every single minute I've spent with that game. It is hands down one of the best RPGs I've ever played. And I'm not just saying
Thank
that
you.
because it's going with the hype. It is a phenomenally put together game. But the ending of that game is such bullshit.
Oh.
It is... There are a few, and I don't want to spoil too much of what I'm going to share on the show, but there are a few complaints that I have with the party structure in that if you get to the end boss and you've mainly used 3 characters and you realize, oh, this character might be better for the final boss, oh, you're fucked. Because, well, they get the experience throughout the game, even if they're not in your party, they don't get any of the tech points, so they don't level up any of their magic or any of their new skills. So you try to bring them into your party and you go, oh, you're using level 1 magic skills. How cute. Dead.
I'm just picturing you with a set of notes in front of you with a red biro. You've written complaints at the top and you've just got a shit ton of bullet points on the left. And you're just bracing that and you don't want to say anything now. You got it all saved up for that show.
I have, quite honestly, a standard college-ruled 70-sheet notebook is almost full of notes from Chrono Trigger.
Oh my god.
Front and back. I take notes, son.
Son?
It's good though. I really, really, really enjoy it. But I had to put the game down last night because I was getting so frustrated with the final boss.
Oh, yeah.
So I tried to ask Dan for help. He was, I don't remember.
Oh, come on, it's been ages since I played Chrono Trigger.
You remember some of the most obscure bullshit about the most random games.
Yeah, but that's just if it sticks in my mind. I don't remember a specific boss right
It's
at the
the
end
final
of
boss.
Yeah, but it's like there's so many more iconic moments from that game.
Yes,
Rather than the
like
last
this
boss.
morning when I asked you who my favorite or your favorite characters were, and you said Sabin.
Yeah, he's a good character.
He's from Final Fantasy VI. God,
They're very similar. The look is very similar.
no, they
Well,
aren't.
Blonde
Yes,
hair.
they are.
There is no dude in that game with blonde hair.
Yeah, Chrono. Isn't it red or something? Blonde? I can't remember now. It's been ages.
No, I'm saying the look of the actual game is.
Well played. Oh man, that's British humor for you right there. It's been ages. No, Chrono's got red hair, Tom.
Yes,
Yes,
he does.
yes, the
And
red hair.
And there's a girl with goggles. There's a blonde girl.
She has a hat on, so you don't know what color her hair is.
It's true.
With a robot.
And he
There's a
doesn't have
robot.
hair because he's metallic.
You don't know. It could be underneath.
There's a frog.
And he doesn't have hair because he's a frog.
True. I can't remember.
But he does wear clothes and he's a frog. So
It's true.
The
As you
only
do.
blonde-haired person is Ayla, the 65 million BC obnoxious programmer girl. Me no like.
That's what like, you know, on Final Fantasy VIII and stuff, when Squall would speak and he'd have his internal monologues.
Yeah.
And occasionally it would put like ... Did you have kind of your own sound for what that would sound like in your head?
His brain just shuts off for a second.
That's exactly what it used like in my head though. It's just like it's always going.
It was just a monkey on a unicycle clashing cymbals together.
Oh, Dan, always good for a laugh. So we are finishing up Psychonauts. Dan and I delved into probably the first 3/4 of the game last show, but Jess and Tom decided to stand us up. But we still want to kind of get your take on the first half. Neither of you have played this game before today or this show, correct?
Correct.
Let's hear it.
I've enjoyed it.
Now, Jess, hold on.
That's so stupid. I should have said it.
This question absolutely has to be asked, and I think you already know what it is.
Did you guys take bets too?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
How far? Let me ask. I need to ask this so it is officially on record. How far did you get?
I managed to get like all the way around the brain and jump through the door.
That took me a while, actually.
Seriously.
So you didn't play it at all?
No, I just finished with like my brain with the one guy who's training you.
So
The
the
creepy
tutorial
doctor?
level.
Yeah, still there.
Damn it!
I was right.
I said that you had made it through Lungfishopolis.
No. To be fair, I have been like super irritatingly sick.
That's the best time to play games.
No, because I've been having like heart issues. So all of my days off, I've had to go to the hospital and wait in the emergency room for a long time. So it's been irritating.
I don't think we can make fun of that.
No.
I know, it's not even a fun sick that you're like, oh yeah, I can sit on the couch and play games.
As soon as you mentioned heart.
Can we give you a poop-colored heart for this show instead of the poop-colored star?
I think that's appropriate.
Okay. So if Jess, her analysis of the game comes from the first 12 minutes, it is
like
good.
15.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fair to suggest, though. If you weren't dying, you still wouldn't have played more of it. So
I think I could have at least gotten to like maybe the level after.
It's just the thing that blows my mind is that you single-handedly drove this show through the entirety of Suikoden, which was not a short game.
That's a huge game.
Not a short game. And in the process, you collected all 100 characters.
Yeah.
And
she's
you
done
made
a
it
quarter of games for the next
12
10 years now.
minutes into Psychonauts.
I think it was because, like, I think Aaron was like, so, like, you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it. And I was, oh, fuck that. I'm doing it.
I kind of
He needs to do this more often.
Yeah, I think take bets before, and then I'll actually finish them.
I actually stopped playing Suikoden because I didn't want to waste time, and then you contacted me like, hey, I just beat it, and I was only like 12% into it. Well, fuck. Now I need to beat it.
Oh, man.
Thomas, Can you pick up her slack?
Well, did you place bets on me as well?
No, because I had inside information, so I didn't want to screw
Straight
Dan out
from
of
the
money.
horse's
Plus, Dan
mouth.
doesn't gamble. His bets consist of, I bet you this, and then there's no actual bet.
Yeah, I rolled the credits yesterday.
Nice.
So I right up to the wire, because I just kept getting stuck. I got stuck so much, guys.
It's like stuck technically or stuck because of the game itself being difficult?
Both, actually. So, yeah, maybe backtrack a bit. I mean, you probably mentioned some of this stuff in the last show, which I have yet to hear, but...
Oh, thanks,
First
Tom.
of all...
I told him not to listen to it because we spoil the first 3/4 of the show, or the game.
Oh, thanks, Eric.
What?
I'll listen to it later, Dan.
Good.
Promise.
And then you're going to go, oh, they already talked about that. Oh, they already... Oh.
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate everything you guys have already talked about. But yeah, it was quite a nightmare getting the game to begin with. Because obviously it's in the North
we
American
went through this.
I'm sure you did.
I had to trust two people on the other side of the planet with my PayPal information on their PlayStation.
I'm so sorry about that, Bill.
Well. Dan took advantage and had just 4,000 things in his cart and then put Psychonauts and went, purchase!
Yeah.
Joke's on PayPal because I submitted fraud. You get to keep all your games, I get my money back.
Oh, why didn't we
Probably
do
should
this?
not have admitted that.
I should have done that. Yeah. Guys.
Anyway.
But I had technical issues as well. The game would just sometimes lock up and freeze. I had to restart my PlayStation a couple of times, and then sometimes I hadn't saved for a while. That's just the just not being used to. I think the first time I've played a PS2 game all the way through.
It auto-saves, Tom.
10 years or something.
The game auto-saves.
Yeah, but it doesn't... It only auto-saves at certain points, right?
I felt like it did a pretty good job of auto-saving pretty frequently.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I didn't lose a lot, but like, it was still backtrack. It crashed quite often, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a sign of the times. Like, it's a very much a game of its time with the camera angles are very difficult.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on, we should say it crashed because you were using the PS2 version on the PS3 emulated, not because the game itself is buggy.
Oh, no, yeah, the game is... I'm confident the game is absolutely fine. It was probably either my PlayStation or just the nature of emulation.
Yeah.
But even platformers like Jak and Daxter and stuff back in the day, I just wasn't very good at them because of falling. I fall a lot in those games.
I get so stressed about it. Like, if there are no walls around something, guarantee I'll fall. Like, it's just, I psych myself out, and I'm like, oh my god, fall off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although, one thing I did like about Psychonauts, and I'm kind of jumping around here, but sometimes they'd have a ton of platforms you had to go up, and then there'd be like this button at the bottom that would you could kind of walk over this booster button and it would propel you back up to the top again.
Oh, you're talking about like Mila's Dance Party?
Yeah. So that kind of stuff was helpful.
It was good level design in that they said, okay, you made it through here. If you fall, we're not going to make you do it again.
Yeah. So I liked that. And in general, like, the story and the characters are great. I love the writing is exceptional, so funny. I haven't laughed this much playing a game for ages. I remember the last time, like, laugh out loud humor. Like, my girlfriend was watching me play it, and she was reading her book, and every now and again she'd just look up from her book and be like, "This is funny." It's actually really amusing.
It's very cleverly written. You can definitely tell they put a lot of thought into making sure that this game not only played well, but it just was a great experience. Yeah,
the levels have been really well thought out. And you can go really deep through them. And I like all the nods to Psyche, like the mental cobwebs, emotional baggage, figments of imagination. It's just like such a nice combination of storytelling that all relates to.
Well, they're not just random. We said this in the previous show, but they're not just
they're
random things to pick up. Like the figments actually, if you stopped and looked at them, they served a function within the level. Because if you think about memories, a memory is something that you have experienced, but the more you remember something, you're technically remembering the memory of a memory of a memory of an experience. So it's kind of like playing a game of telephone with yourself where things start to get a little skewed. And that's how I saw it with these figments, because you'd be in like these homes in the milkman level, and there'd be random plants there, or there'd be a person there, or there'd be a couch there, and maybe that couch wasn't really there, but now in your mind you're telling yourself it's there, or there's a dog outside, or there's a guy in an airplane flying overhead, and they serve to help flesh out the level, but they also help you level up as well. It was one of the most unique aspects of the game.
You say that though, but I didn't pay attention to what they were. I just collected them.
You messed up, Dan.
I thought because it's an old game, it was quite hard to make out what they were.
Mm-hmm.
Did you play through the whole game on full screen mode, or did you switch it back to normal?
I have no idea.
Did it look like a square on the screen with two black bars on the sides, or was it full screen?
Full screen.
Oh yeah, you suck.
Oh.
I played it on normal, but then sometimes it doesn't save the setting.
No,
and I just can't be bothered to change it sometimes. So yeah, it kind of a mix.
It looked really stretched
Mine
and
auto
disgusting.
does it.
Does it?
Yeah.
Really? I wonder if there's a setting somewhere.
Maybe because I know I changed it for my N64 input is like default not stretched.
Wait, did you play? What are you talking about? N64 on the PS3?
No, my TV.
Oh,
my TV has all the settings built in.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Well, so I wanted to actually just briefly talk about this the dance scene, Mia's party.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you guys have probably already covered it. It's where you obtain the ability to levitate.
Yeah.
And did you guys find Mia's secret room?
Yes.
In that level? Yeah, how it was totally fucked up.
Well, that's another thing we kind of talked about, is that this game allows you to just plow through it and not experience many of the stories. You come across the characters, but if you really want to figure out why these characters are the way they are, within each of their minds, they have these secret vaults. And some levels have multiple vaults that give you more depth to that character. But yeah, Mila's was by and far the most fucked up one in the game.
Yeah, like she's, on the outside, this really happy, bubbly party person. And it just kind of shows off this other side of her where we all have, have some sort of unpleasant past or something that's happened, or like just emotional baggage, or just things that creep into our nightmares. And there's basically this, did you talk about it in the last show?
Not the secret room. I forgot about it.
So yeah, you head up into this secret room, and there's this, one of those vaults that you can open, which showcases her memories. And it shows, stills of Mia's, children, I think. I think she has a bunch of kids, and then
I think she was
an orphan.
She worked at an orphanage.
She worked at an orphanage. That's right. And they all like died in a house fire, and then suddenly you find your way into the secret room, and it's basically a room full of her nightmares that she keeps locked away, and it's full of all the burning children. And as you're walking around this caged area that's on fire, there's like the ghosts of the kids, and they're saying, "Why did you let us die? Why didn't you save us?" And there's just all this guilt, and she's even saying while you're in there, like, "What are you doing in here? The party isn't here. You shouldn't be in my nightmares. That's why they're here. They're locked away. They're kept away in a dark place. I don't want to revisit those."
And the only way you would understand the context of that room is if you found that secret vault in an earlier part of the level.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, it's really eerie. Because the game is so like funny and humorous most of the time. Like humor is very much like, secondary to the whole thing. And then suddenly it takes a backseat in this scene.
It's one of the only times in the game where you sit there and you go, "Oh yeah, people do really have a lot of fucked up things going on." Yeah,
it's cool. And I think the Milkman and Mia's minds are the only places you encounter nightmares in that whole game. So whereas Mia has the defenses to keep her nightmares locked away, Boyd's kind of run a riot and appear everywhere.
I love Boyd.
That is the best. That is the best level. So good.
That is a crazy level, man.
That's one of those platforming levels that will stick with you forever.
Honestly, so many things quotable in that level, as I'm sure you guys already went through.
Oh yeah,
Like
Cherry is a flavor of pie. Rhubarb is a controversial flavor of pie.
I take pride in a well-landscaped garden. This job is unsavory, but it must be performed by someone. The most pleasant sewers can be found in Paris, France. It's just so random. It's so funny.
That right there is just a textbook for amazing level design and writing. Just all kind of bundled into one. It's kind of a frustrating level, but it's so fun.
It is really frustrating, but
I just even love the bits where you're talking to the milkman and he's just completely batshit.
Did you guys notice with the clairvoyance in the milkman level that if you use clairvoyance on the people, that the agents, depending on what you were holding, it would change their perception of you?
Yes, I did. I never got that power. I can't understand how it works.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah, so if you held up a stop sign and you walked up to the people that required a stop sign to go through and you used clairvoyance, suddenly they'd see you as a road worker, but if you took it off, they'd see you as this big bad enemy. I used clairvoyance on everything. If you, like in the Matador level later when you're fighting the luchadors, if you use clairvoyance on them, they'd see you as another luchador.
Oh, jeez.
What use is that, though? What do you use it for?
It's just a neat little thing to gain a different perspective because you are an intruder in these people's minds. So how do they see you inside their mind?
The whole level is an instant seizure.
Yeah.
I just couldn't fucking get my head around it. And actually, I had a massive problem at one point whereby I needed the cobweb duster to go any further, which cost 800 arrowheads, and I only had 175.
Yeah, we
went through this as well, didn't we, Eric?
Yeah, it got really frustrating where it's like, oh, now I need to get the dowsing rod.
Yeah.
And once you get the dowsing rod, it's like, oh, 800, no problem.
Yeah.
We were in exactly the same boat as you, Tom, so don't worry, you're not terrible. You're not terrible.
And I've played it before, but I forgot about that.
That's good to know. I love that the big fish is called Linda. I just can't get over that. What's your name? Linda.
I can't wait to talk about it later on. My favourite bit in the entire game. I will get to it later on, but it's just so funny. It trumps Linda by far.
Really? Oh, I'm
right at the end. You'll know about it when I speak about it. We'll go through it in order.
Yeah.
What did you? So after that was the. Lungfishopolis was okay. We talked about that last show.
I loved that. I loved that level though. That was probably one of my favorites. When you're, the mighty Goggalor. Some of the script in there is amazing.
He's
like
going for the orphanage.
Yeah. Oh, and the guy at the hard to avoid area attack.
taking a piss at itself. It was
mighty Ram ground version.
Unnecessarily long combination.
Yeah, that was great. And like when they have the idea to pamphlet the whole town.
Yeah.
And it was like, we need an inexpensive printer to achieve this. That was great. Really, really good. What comes after that? You have to get into the asylum.
Yeah, and that's where you go to the milkman level. Then you go to the theater level.
I think we stopped there, didn't we?
No, we stopped after the Napoleon level.
Oh, I'm busy losing my sanity here for France.
Yeah, that I think for me,
it was great. He has cups on his arms.
It's a toss up between the Milkman level and the Napoleon level for which one is the best in the game. I think those two are pretty neck and neck. The Napoleon level is so funny.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it was good.
Plus, just the ingenious whole triple depth that you can go to. You can be full size and you can go to mid level and move the pieces around, and then you can go down into the board and talk to these people and recruit them and convince them to die for a leader who doesn't care for you. And see you later, honey. Hope you're in my will.
Oh yeah, was this after getting down into the sewers? Is this the Napoleon one? Was that after you have to get the plunger?
The plunger was still part of the Milkman level.
Okay, yeah. I found that really difficult.
We both hated the theater level. That one I didn't enjoy.
Oh god, no! It took me ages, and I
That
didn't
one I
enjoy
ended
it.
up just
too long
ultimately.
and too much changing of stupid switches and.
I just ended up using a walkthrough for that. Like, how can I get through this one the quickest?
Yep.
I had to use a walkthrough for quite a few bits actually.
But we stopped after the Napoleon level.
Okay. I can't remember what came after there.
After
The next
that,
level is Matador.
the Black Velvetopia, I believe, is what it's called.
Oh, right. You look at you with your names.
That one, I like the whole meaning or the setting behind that level, because there's this big matador at the top of the asylum that has been tasked with painting a picture of Dr. Lobato, correct?
Yes.
And
yes.
he can't bring himself to finish it. So he's got all of these demons that he's struggling with, and the whole concept of this level is that art is the only escape. And a lot of people, you hear them say that, like, my art is my escape. I lose myself in it, and I can express all of these thoughts and feelings and emotions through my art. And I really like how they built this entire level around that. Well, I didn't enjoy this level as much as some of the other ones. I like the whole thought behind it. He's desperately in love with this girl that was stolen from him, and you have to collect cards so he can build a card house to release his love from her prison in the sky. But the whole time you're trying to avoid this bull. What was the bull's name? El Odio.
Ah, yes.
It's a frustrating level because if you get
It's
hit,
so annoying, that level.
if you get hit by the bull, it shoots you further back.
Yeah, that's the really purple level, right? It's just very vibrant.
So cool. The level design on that. You get like this really awesome matador outfit, and everything's it's black, all black with really bright neon velvet style. The old 90s paintings or the pictures.
It's
with the
very
black
Tron,
velvet.
isn't it? Very
Very
Tron.
Yeah.
The coolest aspect of that is how they pulled all the dogs in. That picture of the dogs playing poker?
Yeah.
One of the most famous pictures out there. They pull all of those dogs in, and they are a part of this level where you have to purchase art from them, and they're all pissed off at each other because they're I don't remember the specifics behind it, but you meet each of them, and they've kind of got a grudge with each other. And this one's got a cool backstory for the Matador, and he was a wrestler in high school, right?
Yes.
And there was another wrestler who came in and stole his girlfriend. Or am I remembering that incorrectly?
Is it Dingo?
Yes. Dingo betrayed him. And there's another part where you go into the sewers, like down into the locker room, or just different parts of a school. And I like how Raz acknowledges the absurdity of it, because he goes down into the locker room. He's like, boy, it's like I'm in high school again. And he goes, wait a minute, but I'm only 13. Just brilliant.
Raz has some pretty good lines.
But at the end of that, you kind of determine that the Matador has made all of these people up, because he's trying to justify why this girl left him. And like Dingo was made up, and what was the other one? It started with an L. Lapita?
Oh, shit.
Oh, no, his problem was that he choked at state, and everybody gave him crap for it.
I was thinking of King Kong Cobra for some reason.
What's King Kong Cobra?
I can't remember. It was one of the things I wrote down. It was Junior King Kong Cobra. It was towards the end of that Matador level, but I can't remember.
You had to fight 4 luchadors in there, and
that's right.
There was one where you had to beat him with a very specific power. Which one? It was the last one. What power did you need to get? I don't remember what that was. Help me out, Dan.
I don't have a clue.
Drawing a blank.
It wasn't the clairvoyance. Because
each
of them... No. Shit, I don't remember.
Oh, man. I can't...
It
It was levitation.
Levitation? That's at the very beginning.
I just said something.
Oh, good. Glad.
Look at Jess pretending she knows what she's talking about.
Schmuggly.
No, that's... Yeah, the Matador level was okay. You end up fighting the bull at the end. You come to find out that the bull is actually the Matador, and he's his own... the way I interpreted that is that he was his own obstacle. He was making all these problems for himself.
Yeah, that sounds about right. To be honest, I didn't care because I hate that level so much. I just wanted to end.
It was pretty frustrating.
I think maybe you used the invisibility against him.
Was that it?
It was the confusion grenades.
Yes!
Oh.
That was
not invisibility.
Because I didn't go buy any of those. I just never bought any at the store. Or I didn't buy the...
To be honest, towards this point of the game, I just figured out setting everything on fire seems to work, so that's all I was doing.
Well, it worked for the first 3 luchadors.
And then just throw a confusion grenade, set something on fire, and then you're pretty much golden.
Yeah. After that, the game took a very, very, very frustrating turn.
Oh, God.
Everything up to this point, it wasn't difficult. It was hard, but it wasn't obnoxious. And after this, you move into... You've gotten up to Dr. Lobato's lab.
Now, this is the bit I want to talk about, because this is the funny bit that I was on about. This is before you get into the frustrating section. There's a bit where you find Dr. Lobato and you have to rescue the brains of the kids. And there's a turtle there.
Mr. Pokylopes.
Mr. Pokylope. There's a crazy... I don't even know who this woman is. She's just there, and she's just
Her name is Sam.
crazy. Yeah, and she loves this turtle, and you've got to rescue this turtle for her. Then when you finally rescue the turtle and they reunite, the turtle just speaks with like the deepest voice you've ever heard. And it's just... I laughed for about 5 minutes.
It's so complimentary to Sam's voice because she's so high pitched and shrill and obnoxious. And for the longest time, I'm sitting there thinking, why did they cast her like this? And then you hear Pokylopes like, oh, that's why. But
relax.
Sam was the lady or the girl that Dr. Lobato tasked with bringing her the brains, and she's the one that's been stealing the brains of all the kids around camp.
All right.
Yeah, and she has not found a suitable brain, and they want to use. He pulls Pokylopes in and says, I'll kill Mr. Pokylopes if you don't bring me the correct brain," and you end up going in and saving it, and then move on to essentially fighting this battle tank. So Pokylopes goes in, takes the brain, and he kills Dr. Lobato. But then your brain gets mashed together with the general's brain. Mm-hmm. So you enter this level that is kind of a mashup of the coach's background and your own background. So Raz's background is that he came from the circus, and he hated his dad because his dad hated psychics, and he just despised the circus. And the general's background is his dad was a butcher. So you enter this level called the meat circus. And it just... It was such a letdown to end the game on such a frustrating level.
That's when you're just running around.
That section at the start where you have to rescue the bunnies can just piss off, because that is just so annoying.
Well, everything is so timed, and it's all very intricate jumps, and you have to utilize everything that you've learned in the game up to this point. And if you fail,
which is
you have
fair
to start
enough.
over.
That's what happens in games, but it's just so frustrating because of the time limit and because of the platforming design. It just doesn't work brilliantly.
I think the worst part of that came later when Raz finally confronts his dad, or his mental representation of his dad, and you're in the circus tent, and boom, water starts coming up. So not only are you timed to climb all of this shit, you have your dad shooting at you. And fortunately, they put checkpoints along the way, so if you die, which you're going to die, you get to this part where you have 2 ropes you got to jump up on, and then you have to tightrope walk across 2 things, and then jump onto these fences that are lit on fire. How many times did you guys die at that spot, honestly?
Loads.
Too many. I switched off and had to play again the next day.
It had to have easily been, I would
Those
say,
moments suck.
30, 40 times
Yeah.
until I got frustrated to the point where I found a loophole in how to beat it. So you jump onto this fence, and what you're supposed to do is there's a gap between these fences, and they go in like a spiral upward fashion. And you're supposed to be on the outside of the fence and then jump, levitate, because it's too far to just jump. You have to jump, levitate, which didn't always activate right away, and then catch the inside of the fence. But as soon as I got there, I could never get past that second portion. So what I started doing on the first fence was I would climb up to the top and jump so I could stand on the top of it and try to jump across and then repeat it, but the water would catch up to me. So eventually I just got frustrated and said, screw it, I'm going to try to cheat. So I jumped onto the first fence, climbed to the top, and then if you jump up and you hit levitate, you jump on a ball. But since it's sloped, your ball will start to roll. But if you're quick enough, you can bounce really high and go up to the very last cage. And you can catch onto that, stand on the top, and then jump across to the end.
See, I eventually, after many, many goes, actually figured out how you go around the outside. You kind of have to jump off it and jump back at an angle to get on it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Which is incredibly frustrating and extremely annoying, but I got it in the end. I was like,
Really awkward.
awkward.
See, I just got frustrated and said, I'm going to try to break it and circumvent this because it's too
good
frustrating.
idea. Just a
Yeah,
bad
it's
level. Bad
super
level.
awkward. Yeah. And he's like talking to you as well, so there's all sorts going on the screen.
Yeah,
And
and
I
when
just
you're
kept-
trying
I
to
just-
dodge his bullets, it's just to the point, because I would try to dodge him and I'd fall off the tightrope. I just said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to take the hits.
Yep.
But you
Yeah.
get up to the top and you have to fight this really awesome combination of the general's dad and your dad, and like they're mashed into this butcher circus freak person. And the final boss wasn't that difficult. It just getting to him was super annoying.
It took me a while to figure out how to beat it initially when you had to run up the arm.
Yeah.
That was...
Oh,
but
yeah, I had to use a
got
guide
there.
for that.
Yeah. I used my piece of bacon and talked to Agent Fuller.
Is that bacon I smell?
You gotta run up the arm, Rasputin.
You
Oh,
sound
did he
just
tell you?
like him.
Do I smell bacon?
Bacon?
That's a great impression.
Thank you. We established this last week as well.
I think we've covered everything from last week.
A little bit, yes. The ending of the game, what did you guys think of that?
Oh, where's Psychonauts 2?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I had no idea that it finished with such a cliffhanger.
They left it totally open, like, guys, it's coming. I mean, it's a pretty bold story that they would go into. You come to find out that the girl that Raz has an interest in, her father is the head of the Psychonaut company, right?
Yeah, and he's missing.
Yes. So you hop in this jet. You come to terms with your father. Your father, Rasputin's father, says, I don't hate psychics. I am a psychic. I just didn't want you to go down that path, blah, blah, blah. But I saw your potential, this, that, the other thing. They reconcile and they take off into the sky. And it's like, all right, Psychonauts 2, here we come. And it just never happened.
Truman, that's his name. Lily's father.
Truman. And Raz becomes the youngest Psychonaut ever.
Yeah,
And earns a super nifty new jumper.
Yes.
And you see his hair.
Yeah, he's got
Which
weird
is-
hair.
Terrible. Should keep his goggles on.
I shared a couple articles with you guys that I think are kind of important to the Psychonauts legacy, because this is one of those games that didn't get a whole lot of attention in its time, but it's kind of garnered this cult following, and even today, still, with as popular or as well known as it is, not many people have played it.
I mean, I'd never heard of it, I've got to be honest.
I'd never played it before, so...
You'd never heard of it, Tom?
To be honest, yeah, I when you mentioned it, I would like to say I heard the name, but I just didn't know anything about it. So,
No, I went in completely blind, so...
yeah.
Was it, Eric, were you, like, I forget who was obsessed with this game like 2 years ago.
Probably
2-3
me.
years ago. Probably.
Yeah.
Eric obsessed over a game, never.
Never.
Yeah, shocker,
Never
right?
happens.
Yeah. I mean, I know Dan with Final Fantasy VII, but
Yes.
I've been known to like a game or two.
Let me do some new information about that. I mean, come on.
Dan, stop.
Keep the hype train moving.
Dan single-handedly drove Sony to do it. Like, fine, we'll shut him up.
I'm happy with that.
Good. So Double Fine created this game. They started working on it back in 2000. And it was originally only supposed to have a 2-year development cycle, but it ended up taking 5. And Tim Schafer did a series of interviews where he was kind of pulling the curtain back on what was going on at the time. And they were a new studio that was working with a new engine and having never worked on console games. Before, Double Fine had only worked on PC games. And they brought in one guy who'd worked on consoles. And Sony initially said, well, hey, you guys don't really have a track record with console games, so we're going to pass. Whereas Microsoft went, all right, here's some money, and told them to start making it. And since nobody really had experience in this, it started to take longer and longer. And Microsoft was like, cool, here's more money, take your time. But it started getting to the end of the Xbox and PS2 life cycle, and Microsoft approached them and said, look, if it's not going to come out in 2004, we're going to cancel it. And at that point, they'd had a target deadline of February 2005. And Microsoft just said, sorry. So at that point, Tim went on to personally finance this and started taking personal loans out to make payroll. And he put pretty much his entire life into this game. And if this game were to tank or not be a commercial success, he said he would have been in debt for the rest of his life for the money that he borrowed just to pay his employees to keep doing the game. So instead of saying, hey guys, just keep working and doing this, he actually paid them. He put himself into this game. And I think it definitely shows.
God, that's crazy. Yeah. That's mad though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like took the biggest possible risk and well-deserved reward because he's gone on to do loads of other things.
Well, there was one quote that I really liked. He said, I thought it wasn't going to happen, so I made a speech to this team saying that next week's payroll was the last payroll, and all the air just went out of the room. Then I went back to my desk and found an email from Majesco, I think who ultimately published the game, and I was like, hold on, team, don't walk out the door. So he did everything he could to keep these people there, and finally it just came down to like, hey guys, I've done everything I can, and he quite literally had. He just had no more avenues to source money, and then Majesco saw this game and said, okay guys, we're going to fund you on this. And it's just one of those stories of like, keep your nose to the grindstone and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think we all know Double Fine today is a studio that's made some great games, but without Psychonauts, Double Fine would not exist. There's no denying that. This game solidified them in the industry.
Yeah. So, do you remember this game when it came out?
Oh yeah,
First.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had a copy of it on PS2 and Xbox.
Did it do well? Did it chart and stuff? Was it?
It was relatively unknown, which is why you guys probably still haven't heard of it. But it's gathered such a cult following that it's been a commercial success. It was a phenomenal game, but not many people played it.
So I saw, because of Psychonauts 2 has obviously never happened. I mean, Psychonauts came out when? How long's it been?
2005.
So over a decade now. And I saw a thing recently where Notch, who made Minecraft, was talking to Tim Schafer about potentially funding it.
Oh,
then I saw another article which said that Notch was kind of semi-joking about it, and he didn't realize how much it would actually cost to fund a new one. So it doesn't look good for the future, but with Final Fantasy VII being remade, things happen nowadays. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I never thought that would happen ever.
I wonder how much did he say how much it would cost?
He said he thought it would be a couple of million, but in reality it's going to cost about 40.
Yeah, games aren't cheap these days.
No way.
They're not like E.T. on the Atari that you can program in a weekend.
I would have thought Notch could stump up the funds, though.
Oh, yeah, he's a multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
Off one game. That is crazy.
It'd be worth a punt, though, with you for Psychonauts 2, perhaps.
Oh, I think it would do phenomenally
I think because it's got that following now, it would do really well.
Yeah.
I wonder why they haven't tried to do an HD remake of it. This game would be incredible for that.
Yeah, I think so.
I think because Double Fine's been working on Broken Age recently, haven't they? So
I was trying to look that up. I don't know if Double Fine even owns the rights to it anymore.
Who does?
I don't know.
Can't think.
I could be wrong. I totally could be wrong. I mean,
maybe it's Majesco or whoever it was.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong, but whatever. Anything else? Any final thoughts on Psychonauts? Are you guys glad you played it?
I am until the last 2 levels.
Yeah,
It changed my life.
Jess, you played 12 minutes of it. That's important because it changed her life in 12 minutes.
Yeah, right?
Proud of you, Jess.
Go back to sleep, Jess.
I'm glad you recommended it. I would never have played it otherwise. I know that much.
We're getting some good games under our belt here. I mean, I've had, 2 for 2 for good recs from me. We had the Minish Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody loved Echo the Dolphin.
Shut up. That was your recommendation.
I know.
And everyone's loved my recommendation of Battletoads.
Battletoads is great.
Podcast
Yes.
Racers were pretty good.
Fuck.
Podcast Racers, Jesus. Oh, man. Yeah, if you want to share your thoughts on Psychonauts, Factory Sealed, manatank.com, or you can go to factory-sealed.com, shoot us an email from our website form. We actually do have an email this week from a guy named John A.
The John A.
John
Hello.
A. He wanted to leave his last name a mystery.
What should we fill it in for him?
Go for it.
Anonymous.
John
Aardvark.
Anonymous. John Aardvark, okay. He says, hello, Factory Sealed crew. First off, I want to say I love the show, and I'm glad I stumbled upon it. I am a podcaster as well, and in my journey to add my show to the podcast app I use on my phone, I stumbled upon your show, and, well, I am working through all of your previous episodes now. I still have yet to get through a lot of your shows, but I had a suggestion for a game for the crew to play if you haven't already. Since I hear there are Final Fantasy fans among you,
My God.
I think Final Fantasy Mystic Quest should be addressed. I'd love to hear your opinions on it. I personally have a warm place for it in my heart, an oddity among the Final Fantasy games, way watered down from your typical Final Fantasy game, but in my opinion has a top-notch soundtrack, one of those that can easily get stuck in your head and you'll be humming it after you hear it. Like it, hate it, I'd love to hear it. Thanks, guys and gal. John A.
Thank you, Mr. Aardvark.
That's an interesting suggestion.
I've never played
I've
Mystic
seen
Quest.
this, but I haven't played it.
I think I was talking with one of our listeners, Mark Haddock, I believe. He had a boxed copy of this, but it didn't have the Final Fantasy title on it. It was just called Mystic Quest or Mystic Legend or something like that. Whereas the boxed copy I have is actually a Final Fantasy game. And I remember it being very, very, very basic. It's not like it's not a big open world thing. There's a map with dots and you move around it like a Mario level and go into little pieces and
Released
Is it for
as
the-
Mystic Quest Legend in PAL regions.
that's what it is.
Okay.
And
Is
also
this
Final
SNES?
Fantasy USA Mystic Quest.
Yep.
Is this SNES?
Yeah. We
Okay.
could add that to the list for down the road. I think it'd be a good game to cover. It's kind of long from what I remember.
Oh.
Well, if it's a Final Fantasy, it probably will be.
I was actually going to say, I saw an SNES cart yesterday, and made by Squaresoft. It was called Bahamut Lagoon. Have you guys heard of that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was like, I looked at the label and I was like, huh, that sounds like something I'd like, but I have no idea.
That looks quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Graphics are all right.
Bahamut Lagoon. I wonder if the ones that some of these pictures look like it's a remake.
Okay.
Or it's been up-resed.
Yeah. Platforms. Looks like it's only been a Super Nintendo. I don't see any other platforms it came out on.
Oh, this looks intriguing.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's got a tie-in with Final Fantasy at all.
Yeah, it just seems, I don't know. Really, I'd like to give that a go one day.
I wonder if it came out.
I watched a video once where I think it was from a Dorkly, where the Final Fantasy, it's like the Final Fantasy characters were trying to pronounce each other's names and the names of things off it, because everybody says them differently. It's just so funny. Everybody's going Sephiroth, and he's going, it's Sephiroth.
Sephiroth. I know. Aerith.
It's Ares, guys. Let's be honest.
I believe it's Aerith, but
it's Ares.
Who cares? Tifa's better.
Sexy, you mean?
Oh, you mean Tifa?
Her name will forever be Sexy. In all capitals. Because that's what I named her in my game. So, little did I... If I could go back and bitch slap 13-year-old Eric, I would. Like, don't do it. You're going to ruin a lot of things down the road for you.
But, like, were you not? I don't know. Like, I would be afraid that my parents would see it or something and be like, Jessica, what are you doing?
That's inappropriate. Well, yeah, for you, because it's... Yeah.
My parents wouldn't care about that.
They'd at least be like, okay, maybe?
They would have loved me no matter what.
Oh, okay. Tom, did you rename...
Even if you called flat video game characters sexy.
Yeah, maybe not that.
Tom, did you rename Cloud to Tom?
Oh, always.
So you really have no personal connection to Cloud's drive?
Well, I have arguably a closer connection because he was me. So
I did name him Dan as well.
You guys are the worst.
No, we're the best.
I had a big burly friend at school, and I would always name Barrett Carl.
Carl.
Because that's what he was called. He wasn't black, but he was big and burly.
My name's Carl.
That's great.
There's an article I want to share with you, Tom, because I think you would appreciate it. It's from a book called Final Fantasy and Philosophy, and it delves into that whole concept of exactly what you're talking about, how Final Fantasy VII is considered to be a writerly text. And essentially what it means is, although we are all playing the same game, we all have a different connection to it because we bring different experiences and different backgrounds into the game. So, well, we both played the story of Cloud Strife. Our stories are different because this is Dan's Cloud, and this is Tom's Cloud, and this is Eric's Cloud, and Jess's Cloud. And while they're technically the same character, the stories are inherently different. And it's just it's a really interesting article in how your personal perceptions and experiences and stories have a very real impact on the game.
Yeah, I'd be definitely interested to read that because, my Cloud is different to yours, and it also sounds different, and his personality entirely is totally different.
Like again, when you play a Squall and you change his sounds when he doesn't make a sound.
What?
Yeah, totally. With the ellipsis at the end.
Which is why I think so many people were pissed off when Advent Children came out, me especially, because like that's not what Cloud sounds like. I mean, they made him just a whiny little bitch.
In my head, he sounded about right.
Tell us how you really feel.
I didn't like Advent Children Cloud. I liked the movie, but he's like, I'm just going to be a little whiny bitch and go listen to some emo music. And
I didn't like the way he was presented in it, but I can understand why, judging by what happens in 5 by C7.
I was watching an interview with, I I think his name is James Arnold Taylor. He was the voice of Titus in Final Fantasy X, and he actually addressed something to that effect. The Japanese version of Titus is completely different than the American version, based entirely off of the voice. The Japanese version apparently he's not as fun-loving and not as goofy and silly and the Titus that we know in English. He's much darker, more stern, and that would that would ultimately change. Well, the dialogue and the language is exactly the same. It would change the tone of the game.
Do you know who James Arnold Taylor is as well? By the way,
the voice of Titus.
He's also the voice of Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank.
Yep. He's done a lot of games. He used to be the he was the old Nolan North or Troy Baker.
Oh.
But that's
Did anybody see the trailer for the Ratchet and Clank movie?
It looks awesome.
It does. It looks so good.
I've not seen it.
Watch it, Tom. It looks so good.
Let's just hope it doesn't succumb to traditional movie game tropes and suck.
Yeah.
But that game's always been quite funny anyway, so if it just translates that across.
As long as they make Captain Quark a very prominent character in that film, they'll do well.
Yes. I love Captain Quark.
The Ratchet and Clank series has kind of taken a dump lately when they went to All for One and then Full Frontal Assault and Quest for...
Into the Nexus was good.
It was short though.
It was, yes. I think it was just
3 hours
a bridge
long.
one.
Yeah.
So it was good though.
I liked the Quest for Booty because it bridged the gap between Tools of Destruction and A Crack in Time.
Yeah. We all like the Quest for Booty.
Such a good game.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen but the remake in the first one?
Yeah, and it's going to release alongside the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I have the HD collections of all of those, and they're pretty good, but the originals are still the best.
Ratchet and Clank 3 was my favourite.
I just remember All for One was a PS Plus download once, but it sucked.
Yeah, All for One is terrible. It's embarrassingly bad.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
You guys got anything else that you were playing or anything else you want to share before we wrap up for the week?
I bought Assassin's Creed.
Anybody have anything intelligent they want to share?
I think Dan bought Assassin's Creed.
Dan,
Go away.
did you buy Assassin's Creed?
No.
Good. We are doing not this group, but Factory Sealed will be doing the Chrono Trigger show hopefully this week. Tom and I will slowly start grinding towards our Popolo Croy show. Next Sunday, and boy, I am pumped for this, we are doing our Silent Hill show. Now, let's make an agreement right here that we will all play it and all beat it.
No, someone has to say that I'm not going to, and then I will.
I guarantee you will not beat it.
Thank you.
Jess will get nowhere near.
I actually
don't. I think Jess won't get past the title screen.
I don't even think Jess is going to download it.
I like it. Thank you.
I don't think Jess has a PlayStation.
Jess, when's the last time you played a game?
Oh no, man. It's tough.
Yes.
That's my bet. Silent Hill 1 for the PlayStation 1. We initially talked about Silent Hill 2, but that's going to just be too hard to source. So we're going to go with the original. It's only like 7 hours long. That's an hour a day.
It's going to be terrifying.
Or 7 hours in one day.
If you can bring yourself to play it.
Yeah.
In the daytime.
I'll probably just end up standing in the same spot for ages. Just not want
for 7 hours.
I'll give you a hint, Dan. Keep the radio on.
Use the map.
Use the map, keep the radio on, and take notes.
Dude, you're not helping.
It's terrifying. I'm excited to go back because it's so pants-shittingly scary.
Oh, good.
So,
wear
off
a
topic.
diaper when you play this game. Actually, just play it sitting on the toilet.
That's beautiful.
I need to rig up a mirror system so I can see it from the toilet.
No, don't ever look in mirrors when something scary is happening.
What?
That's the worst thing in horror movies. You look in the mirror and there's always like a ghosty demon behind you. Don't do it.
Yeah, but I'm sitting on the toilet. There can't be anything.
Dan, put a mirror above
Yeah,
your
no.
TV so you can constantly see the demons and ghosts floating behind you in the TV.
All right, okay.
Yeah. But no, seriously, use the radio because it gives you a hint as to when the enemies are getting closer.
I know.
And
I've
run.
played it before.
Did you beat it?
No,
How far did you get?
not very
Title
far.
screen.
It does not control very well.
Options menu.
No, it doesn't. And oh man, that dialogue. I can't wait to rehash
Oh,
some of
yeah.
that.
I was giving you some of those lines the other day.
I'm impressed with how much of it you remember.
Yeah, it's burnt into my brain. Some of the
Also,
some of
for
those
next
scenes.
show, read up on the town of Centralia, Pennsylvania, I think it is. It's the town that is that Silent Hill is loosely based upon.
This is like university again. You're giving me reading material.
We're trying to improve the quality of our show.
Yes, sir, Professor Peterson.
We may just be a bunch of bumbling morons, but there's nothing saying we can't try to be intelligent.
Further reading, Jeeves.
Jeeves, read this and provide me with notes. Yes, sir. So, yes, Silent Hill next Sunday. We missed Halloween by a day, but
That's okay.
Can we still
We
wear
have to
costumes?
have the costume.
yes, we can wear costumes.
Yes.
And it's going to be live streamed with webcams.
Yay.
Oh
And
my
then
god.
Tom had a suggestion for a game for us to play after that. We're actually going to start looking down the road because we want to play longer games and give ourselves more time to play them. So, I think it's Tom's turn to make a suggestion.
Oh, and I suggested Dino Crisis.
Yeah.
I said that weeks ago.
Yeah, well, Tom said it now, so he gets credit.
Piss off, Tom.
Hey, you should be happy you want to play Dino Crisis.
I'm not happy you're stealing my credit.
Dan has yet to suggest a good game. He's going to come back next week. Let's
But
play
when I
Final
do,
Fantasy
when I do
VII.
suggest them, apparently Tom just steals my ideas. So,
I don't have any good ones of my own.
He has better presentation in his suggestions. Okay. Dan, where can we find you on Twitter?
piss off.
At Piss Off. Tom, where can we find you at Twitter?
Hyperjelly.
Jess, where can we find you?
I am a Jess.
Dan, do you want to give us your real Twitter?
Piss off, Eric.
I wish that was still available. I'm sure it's not. At Piss Off.
I'd piss off, Eric. I'm going to change it right now.
You change it to Feck Off Cup.
No, it's at Frosted Sloth.
You can find me at Honest Pizza. If you want to send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/factorysealed, or on our nifty, handy-dandy website, factory-sealed.com. It's going to do it for this week. We will see you all next week.
It was still my suggestion.
I'm legit dressing up.